So, Photopea is a tool that's an awful lot like Photoshop, and so we're going to begin by going to File and opening an image, and I might choose this bridge. Okay, so we can, if we want to open another image to work within here, there's two things we can do. We can open it, and I might pick one of my crabs. Let's say maybe this one, and you can see it's in a separate tab. So if I wanted to, I could select all of this, edit, copy. And it's worth learning the key commands, then come into here and paste it into the picture. Now if I wanted that crab to be sort of coming from behind this bridge, I would need to have the bridge in front of the crab but the castle behind it. So if we look over here, you can see that as I pasted the image in, it created a different layer, and I can create layers myself down here, like here, and maybe choose a bright colour, let's say pink, and then choose a brush, make it nice and big. And if I draw on, oh, I thought I'd chosen pink, let's try again. Pink. Okay. If I draw on this layer, I'm not actually spoiling my crab picture, because I can either show or hide it, or move it down, and it goes there. So I've still got the problem of how to put the crab from behind the bridge. So what I'm going to do is hide these two layers. They're not gone, they're just not displaying in the picture at the moment. And then make sure I click on the background, and then select from this tool here. There's a number of different ways, tools that help you mask the image. Oh, and it's doing some image analysis, so it can actually start to help me. May take a little while. But with all the tools down the left hand side, if you click on them, there's quite often a different version of that tool. So the quick image tool does, you can sort of draw along, and has it done that? No, it's done a terrible job. So maybe try one of the other. This image may be too big. Let's try the magic wand. Now the magic wand, so I have to select, deselect. The magic wand selects all the colours next to each other, all similar colours, and there's this word here, contiguous. Can you see? Which means kind of next to. So it's not, because of that clouding, it's not picked up the entire sky. So I can increase the tolerance to, I'm going to guess, 30 or 40, should we say? Again, it's quite often a good idea to deselect first, then click on the sky. And you might not be able to see, but I have now got the sky completely selected. So actually, is that what I want? No, it isn't. Although it would be quite fun. So for example, just with that bit selected, I might then choose to go into the adjustments, and there's lots of great things in here, such as colour balance or hue or saturation. So I might want to make a much more moody sky, so I could change the hue. I want something that will make the crab look good, so maybe a weird green, and I can change the saturation and make it darker. So I can do strange things like that. But what I actually wanted to do was to get the bridge on its own layer. So I'm going to use I'm going to select none again, deselect. I'm going to come along here and just do quite a rough job of going across here and coming down here. Oops, missed a bit. I missed a bit there, and so what I can actually hold down the shift key and add any extra bits on. Doesn't matter outside. And I could maybe just do one can spend a long time over this, but I think for these purposes it will be fine. So I've got all of that bridge area there. So what I'm now going to do is cut this out and paste it back in. So can you see it's now on its own layer? We have that layer there, and if you double click on here we can give it a name, and so if you're doing a complex picture it really pays to and is that in the right order? The background there, the bridge there, we need to bring the crab down in between them and then show the crab. And so now can you see the effect that I've been trying to create here? So I've got the, let's give that a good name, crab. So I can now click on the crab or edit transform, and it gets some handles, and I can move it around. So now attacking the castle is the crab. And so I think that just, and I can decide not to use that at all. But that might be a layer on which I put some text or something like that. So that's just the beginning of making montages where you're pulling in lots of different images and moving them around using the layers, cutting bits out and putting them back on and moving them up and down. There are also, actually, just before I go, lots of interesting things you can do with effects on each layer. So you can see what happens there. It becomes almost like a ghost crab, or there's some really crazy ones where it becomes a rainbow ghost crab. But that's essentially it. So this is our file now, and this is equivalent to a Photoshop file. And when we save this, it says save as PSD, which is Photoshop document, and that will come down to our computer, and it will have. We could edit this with Photoshop, or if we bring it back into Photopea, it will still have all the layers that we can still work on. But quite often, if we wanted to put this file into a document or onto Twitter, or onto Facebook, we would need to squish the layers together and make one file. So how we do that is exporting it, and we can export it either as a JPEG, which is a picture, or a PNG if we need to have some transparent bits. Both work fine. So in this case I might choose, I can't choose, doesn't really matter, PNG. Just seems to be taking a little bit of time. So this is a huge image actually. So look, it's 7,000 pixels across, and I only need it for Twitter to be something like probably about 800. So I'm not going to save this. So this image is very big, and we need to resize it. So in the image menu, image size, we can make it a much smaller, 7 times as small almost. There we go. And then OK. And this image is now probably will display like this in Twitter, a lot easier to work with, and it would be this file that we would export. So we need to sort of make a distinction between our source image, which is big and detailed and would work for print, but then our exported image, which is all the layers squished together into one file so that we can't then edit it, never mix these two up or get confused. So I'm going to export this as a PNG file, and okay, and we can make it even smaller if we needed to, by reducing the quality of the photographs that are in there. So let's see what we get. There's a picture that we could post to Twitter, but we can't ever get underneath that crab again and maybe change the sky very easily. I mean, obviously we could edit it, but it's not the best way of working.